A lot of people have asked what to look for in kids to see if they could possibly have dyslexia. And there's different signs in development for different age levels. So today I'm just going to talk about preschool years. And I just want to preface this with, just because your child is showing these symptoms does not necessarily mean that they have dyslexia. It could totally be something different. It could be just a total developmental thing. And then, it's something to keep an eye on for sure and not to dismiss, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they have dyslexia. So I just wanted to say that. But some of the things that you might notice, for one, especially if you have a family history, because dyslexia is genetic. So if there's a family history, definitely be looking for some signs and to keep an eye out. The first thing is if they have trouble learning common short nursery rhymes like Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Sometimes you want to leave a word out and see if they can fill in the word. Like you can say Jack and Jill went up the, and see if they can say hill. And if they can't remember it, that's a red flag. Another thing could also be difficulty learning and remembering just the names of letters in the alphabet. Not necessarily the sounds, but even just the names. Another thing is difficulty recognizing letters in their name. They might not be able to write their name yet, but can they recognize their name? Can they recognize, a lot of kids will be like, oh, that's an A. A is in my name too. A lot of kids will say that. And if you find that they're not doing that, or if they can't tell you that certain letters are in their name, like, oh, is this letter in your name? That's a red flag. Again, doesn't necessarily mean dyslexia, but just keep an eye on that. Another thing too is if they need speech and language, if they have difficulty pronouncing specific words, again, developmental, but they're often using baby talk. You often saying, oh, you're a big boy now, you're a big girl, you don't need to talk like that. Are they purposely using baby talk? Sometimes that's just for attention though. So again, it's just something to keep an eye on. And some early phonemic awareness, like unable to recognize rhyming words. They might not just understand the concept of a rhyme, so you might have to teach them that too. So keep an eye on rhyming. And those are just some small things to look out for, not to necessarily panic about, because again, it could be developmental, but I'm going to do another video on what to look for once a child enters kindergarten through first grade, some more things that could be indicators of dyslexia that you can add to your already growing number of concerns. So hopefully this helps. Please follow me and comment, share my video. You know the drill for TikTok. Do what it takes to help my algorithm continue pumping out these videos. And my goal is to spread awareness to as many people as possible. So if you do your part, it helps me do mine. Thank you.